Hey guys, it's Mick Meaney here again, and thank you for stopping by. So, today we're going to look at what kind of content you should be using in your sales funnel, especially if you're doing things like blogging or creating some kind of content. So, you could be writing articles, you could be making videos, or you could be doing podcasts, webinars, whatever it is that you're doing. This is going to be of huge benefit to you if you're building an email list. So I'm going to show you how powerful the right kind of sales funnel can be. Now, a sales funnel is, well, it's really just a fancy way of moving someone from not knowing who you are to a state where they want to buy your stuff. Okay. And listen though, I'm not going to BS you, okay? I'm going to tell you the reality of the situation, right? This is the ugly truth, and I'm going to show you just how difficult it is to make a profit, because most of the people that consume your stuff, that read your blog posts, watch your videos, well, they won't buy from you. But that is okay, because thankfully we only need a really small number of people to become customers, and we can still do pretty good from that. So it's still worth our time, but getting it right is important. There's a sequence to this. So before we begin, I want you to pause this video right now, and if you haven't got one already, then go ahead and create a new folder on your desktop computer and call it Profit Copilot Tips or something else descriptive. And we'll come back and use this later on. Right, okay, so today it's all about the right way to structure your sales funnel and what type of content you should be using at every stage. This is a critical step to get right because, well, it generates most of the profit for our businesses. The behind the scenes mechanics of a website is what's largely responsible for the revenue, right? It's the stuff that nobody really sees unless they go through all the stages of your funnel. And, you know, that's something that took me a long time to figure out, and really it was actually somebody else who explained it all to me. So now I'd like to pay it forward and help you guys out who might be struggling to make sense of things and make all this stuff work. So you've probably heard of sales funnels before, and you might already have one, and if you do, that's great. And if you've been watching my videos and listening to my podcasts and reading my blog posts, then you'll know that I spend a lot of time talking about sales funnels because, you know, it's important stuff. But there's a right way to do it. There's a right way to structure the sales funnel and a wrong way to structure it. So I'm going to show you the right way to do it. Now, you probably already know that most of the people who visit your website or whatever vehicle you're using to sell, so you might be using YouTube or whatever, well, most of the people who visit won't buy from you, at least not straight away. It's a bit silly to expect someone who doesn't know who you are or your clients to just hand over their money to a complete stranger. So that's why we need a sales funnel. We need a way to re-engage all the people who decided not to buy the first time around. So that percentage of people is huge, and only a very small fraction of the people who meet you for the first time will trust you enough to do business with you. So we've got loads of ways to re-engage people and turn the no into a yes. But to make all that work, you're going to need the right kind of funnel and take them on the right kind of journey. I'll show you how it's done right now. You see, there's a sequence involved that moves somebody through all the different stages, from not knowing who you are, from not knowing anything about you, and moving them to a stage where they actually know that they can trust you enough with their money to do business with you. And that's where we want to be, right? That's how we build a good, solid business. And, you know, if you're like me and pretty much everybody else in my Facebook group, then you probably want to create awesome content that genuinely helps people, and you'll also want to build a strong and healthy business in an ethical way without taking advantage of people and without using any of that hypey, sleazy internet marketing stuff, right? So this is how we do it. This is the right kind of funnel for the job. You see, there's 3 stages to this kind of funnel, and I'll run you through each of them now. The first component, the first stage, is called seeding. The second stage is called appraisal, and the third stage is called conversion. And each one of these has a set of very specific functions, and we'll talk about each one of these too. So we'll go through each one of these stages in more detail, and I'll tell you why we use each one, I'll tell you why it's important, and I'll tell you why we need it. Then I'll tell you the primary objective and the purpose of each stage. I'll also tell you what types of content work best at every stage, because not all pieces of content serve the same purpose, right? I'll explain what types of content work best and where. So then I'll explain what results you need to be aware of at every stage, what kind of things you need to be looking out for and tracking. Because when you think about it, there's no point in creating loads of awesome content that, well, besides helping people, doesn't have any other purpose, right? You see, we can use it to help people deliver value to the marketplace, but we can also use it to move people closer towards us and bring them further into the sales process. And as they move closer to us, the amount of value they receive from us increases as a result. So we need to use the right kind of content in the right way. And then we need to monitor the results that each piece of content gives us. So we need to be aware of the metrics so we can tweak and fine-tune things as we go along. Now, there's a lot of information out there, and some people actually split them up into 9 or 10 stages, and if that works for you, then great. But really, when we boil it all down, we boil everything down and simplify everything, there's really only 3 stages that we actually need to worry about, and that's all we need to make this work if you're creating awesome content. Now, you can tweak and refine this later on once the sales are coming in and the funnel is up and running. So to get to that stage, to make that happen quickly, we just need the first 3 stages. So let's start with the seeding stage. This is where we start planting ideas. We start planting seeds that will grow and produce something that we can harvest later on. And this is really all about cold traffic. You know, that's website visitors who've never heard of you. They don't know anything about you. They might not even know that they have a problem that needs to be solved. So there's a sequence that you have to take them through to get them to the bottom of your funnel, which is, of course, having them buying your stuff. And this is especially true if you're selling big ticket items. The more expensive things are, the more thought they require, the more considerations needed. So the more money that's involved, the more time they'll need to think about it. So at this stage, you're just making people aware of the problem and making them aware of your solution. And let's be honest, not everybody who's going to come into the funnel is going to stick around, right? People are going to exit, and that's fine. That's perfectly okay. It's normal. So your stuff isn't going to be for everybody, and nor should it be. It's perfectly fine that they leave the funnel. Maybe they don't need the content you're providing. Maybe they've already solved the problem on their own by themselves. Maybe they don't like your style. Hey, maybe they don't like your haircut. Who knows, right? The point is, not everybody is going to want whatever it is you've got. So don't let that get you down. But other people will stick around, and they'll move down into the appraisal stage of the funnel. So at this stage, they're starting to realize that there is a problem, and they're thinking about ways to solve it. So they start looking at what their options are. They start to desire a solution, and they start evaluating those potential solutions. They could be looking at your solution. They could be looking at your competitors. And remember, they have the option to just do nothing, right? I mean, A lot of people out there will choose to do nothing. There's an awful lot of people out there in the world who don't want to deal with their problems or face them and find a solution, for whatever reason. So a high percentage of people will exit your funnel at this point, and that's okay. It's perfectly normal. Maybe they'll go to a competitor, maybe they'll keep looking for a solution, who knows, right? So the people who stay, they now move down to the bottom of your funnel, the conversion stage. So this is the point of sale. This is where we harvest the seeds that we planted at the top of the funnel. You've taken them from seeding to appraisal right down to conversion, and this is the last stage of the funnel. And this is where we see people spending more money. People will be more likely to buy high ticket items, buy things that have more risk involved and things like that. So as content creators, we have to understand how the content we make can move people through all three stages. So we have the top of the funnel, which is seeding, we have the middle of the funnel, which is appraisal, and then we have the bottom of the funnel, which is conversion. And each one of these stages has a set of goals attached to it and specific types of content that you can use for that specific stage. I'll give you a quick overview, okay? So the top of the funnel uses things like blog posts, social media updates, podcasts, videos, photographs, newsletters, and all that kind of stuff. The purpose of this is to increase awareness of your brand, to grow your website traffic, to increase engagement, and all of that kind of stuff. The middle of the sales funnel uses things like webinars, surveys, quizzes, resources, and you can even give them a coupon that will move them from the middle of the funnel to the bottom stage a lot quicker. The purpose of this is to grow your email list, to grow your retargeting lists and all of that kind of stuff. So the last stage, the bottom of the funnel, uses things like free demonstrations, free trials, webinars with a sales pitch attached, a mini course, customer stories, and all that kind of stuff. The purpose of this one is, of course, to get sales. That's the primary objective. But we can also do some pretty cool things when we're down in this stage. So we can nurture leads, we can maximize customer value, so we can increase how much each customer is worth to the business. So we can encourage them to buy more stuff at the point of sale, and we can also increase buyer frequency. So we can encourage them to buy from us more often. Once we know what kind of content to deliver, then we have to figure out what kind of results we should be looking for. So we need data. This is what's going to guide you. So always follow the numbers. Let the numbers lead you. Okay, so let's go back to the top of the funnel and look at the things we need to keep an eye on, the stats and the metrics and that kind of stuff. We need to keep an eye on the number of inbound links to your website. We need to keep an eye on the demographics, so the type of visitors and where they're coming from. We want to keep an eye on site engagement rates, so the amount of comments and social media shares and that kind of stuff. That is really important to keep an eye on. So the things that we need to monitor at the middle of the funnel are things like the conversion rate of your lead page. So that's the percentage of people who opt in to your email list. We also need to keep an eye on the actual stats, the actual number of people subscribing. That's important, you see. And we also need to be aware of the open rate of the emails, and then we also have to keep an eye on the click-through rates of those. And seriously, guys, if you're not building your own email list yet, and if you're still struggling to make sense and generate revenue, and I know that some of you are, then building an email list should be your absolute priority. So let's crack on with this. Okay, finally, at the bottom of the funnel, the numbers that we keep an eye on include things like the conversion rate. So that's the percentage of people who accept the offer and buy from us. we also need to keep an eye on the actual number of customers. So we look at those stats too. We need to keep an eye on the retention rate, and we need to look at the average customer value. So that will tell us how much we can spend on advertising and that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff, right? Well, if you use this structure that I've outlined for you and consider what purpose each piece of content you produce serves, then you'll ultimately increase the number of people who stick around in the sales funnel for longer, and you'll ultimately increase the number of people who buy your stuff. So that's a good situation to be in. That's exactly where we want to be headed. Okay, so I'll probably return to this kind of sales funnel again at some point in the future, because it's a massive area and we can really spend ages, hours going through it all. But if you're producing content, if you're blogging, making videos, making podcasts, any of that good stuff, then this is the exact funnel that you need to get started with. For now, the important parts to remember are, we've got 3 stages of a sales funnel, and they are called seeding, appraisal, and conversion. Each one serves a specific purpose. So the top of the funnel is about creating awareness and planting seeds, growing your website traffic and that kind of thing. And to do this effectively, we want to use blog posts, videos, podcasts, and all that good stuff. The middle stage is all about growing your email list, about presenting your solution or whatever it is that you're selling. Maybe it's a service. At this stage, your subscribers will be considering your product. So we can use things like surveys and quizzes, give them resources they can use to solve part of the problem. And then the final stage, the bottom of the funnel, is all about making the sale. So we're focused on increasing the conversion rate, increasing the number of people who buy from us. And the type of content that we use to achieve this could be things like free demonstrations, free trials, customer stories, webinars, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that you need to know on how to get this up and running quickly. And I'll also give you the diagram that we've been using. So I'll give that for you for free as a handy download, so you can keep it and use it whenever you need to. Anytime you want to remind yourself, go ahead and download that now and save it in the folder you created at the start of this. Okay, so I think that's about it from me for today. I hope you have found this to be immensely beneficial and useful to your business, and I hope you use it to get more sales and drive more profit into your business. And if you have found it useful, then you might like to get more stuff just like this from me. So you can get more videos, more free tips, podcasts, blog posts at profitcopilot.com/subscribe. Okay. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you again real soon.